Hey everybody, Dr. Ed Gigliotti here. I want to go over an awesome case study with you guys today. This here is a 20-year-old woman, began care about a year and a half ago in our office, came in with no symptoms. Many times people start care with symptoms like depression, anxiety, headaches, migraines, neck pain, back pain, fibromyalgia, MS, vertigo, tinnitus, whole bunch of different stuff. But this woman, she started care and she said, I just want to make sure that I'm healthy and that my nervous system's working the way it should. And she shared with us that she was considering becoming a chiropractor. She just wasn't sure yet. All right. So we did a full analysis on her. And this here on the left is an image of her neck when she first started care. This is her teeth here. This is the bottom of her skull, her atlas bone, or the top bone in her neck right here. C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. So that's her whole neck. And then we were able to get right to the top of her back with the imaging, T1, so thoracic 1. Okay? Now, the first thing we noticed when we took this image in itself, like when we saw this image, is as you can you see how these bones look stacked right on top of one another? Can you see that? The curve in the neck, the way it actually should be, is like this to the right. This example to the right. The green line there is the way it should be. So if you look to the left again, look how straight up it is if you look right at the back of each one of those squared off vertebrae right here. And then look at the example here. Okay? On the right here is the way it should be. That is called lordosis, or a lordotic curve. That's the way the neck should be. The reason being is because of the anatomy inside. When that curve is intact the way it is, in that example to the right, blood flow is able to get to your brain, to and from your brain better. For example, this black line here on this animation, that would be about right here. It would be about where the green line is on the actual x-ray portion. But that is the vertebral artery. There's one on each side. Supplies 2/3 of the back of your brain with blood. So super important. You're talking about blood flow to the brain. Imagine what that does for your quality and quantity of life. Also, when that curve is intact, the lordotic curve, research has shown with functional MRI, those are MRIs that actually show movement of fluid. It's really cool technology now. But they've shown that cerebral spinal fluid, that's the fluid that bathes your spinal cord, your brainstem, and your brain. Okay? Its responsibilities include, or its roles include, number one, to supply nutrients to that central nervous system tissue. So important. And then number two, to get rid of toxins and waste. It flows around and gets rid of it. Okay? When the curve is intact, you have a lordotic curve, it is maximized in its flow. Research shows that when it goes straight up and down or even reversed, kyphotic curve, that's the opposite of lordotic, it actually impedes on all that fluid flow. Not to mention, the spinal cord is connected to the spinal column through different ligaments and tissues, okay? And when you lose that curve, it actually lengthens the cord and actually it causes stretching and traction. It can actually start to pull what they call the cerebellar tonsils. They're in the back portion of your brain into the canal and create a whole host of neurological issues and health issues. It's really profound what they're finding with research and science. So, needless to say, having this curve intact is very beneficial for our health. Now, as you could see, when this woman started care, even though she had no symptoms at this point that she shared with us, that curve was no longer apparent. The other thing is research is showing how important it is when there's a lordotic curve as opposed to kyphotic when it comes to health outcome measures. So they did tons of studies on people with hyperkyphosis. So hyperkyphosis is when instead of having a lordotic curve like this, it's actually going the opposite way. It's like bending the opposite way. And what they found is that those individuals have a much higher predisposition to muscle weakness, so grip strength, and then also like ankle and leg function. Also, they have a much higher predisposition for degenerative disc disease. So we're talking about the discs in between the vertebrae, those shock absorbers. They get flattened, they degrade, they bulge, all of that. And they put pressure on the very delicate and vital neurology that comes out of these nerves, out of the spinal cord that supply your life. Okay? When you have a kyphotic curve or hyperkyphotic, you have a much higher predisposition for all of those to be injured and destroyed. And then lastly, which is super important, is research actually shows that there's a much higher correlation with people having a hyperkyphotic curve or who lost their lordotic curve and having a higher rate of death from lung issues, from pulmonary issues. Okay? So you're talking about quality and quantity of life is directly tied to the spinal column and the spinal cord is what they're showing, which is obvious when you look at anatomy and what it controls. Okay? So 4 months after this young woman started care, we retook the imaging. We had to take new imaging, and then we did another analysis on it too. And look what we found. So this now is what we found after the fact, only 4 months after care. When usually a kyphotic curve like that, we find clinically and with research, takes years to manifest, years. Look at it now to the right. As you could see, she redeveloped that cervical curve with gentle and specific adjustment, getting pressure off that spinal cord and brainstem. How cool is that? You could see that even the pitch of the atlas has changed compared to the original. Okay, so this is what it was originally, and this is it now. All right? Checking in with her to see how she was doing after being under care, she said that she noticed that she had less to no headaches when she's in adjustment. She didn't even realize that was a problem before because that was normal for her. Even though she had no symptoms, that was considered normal for her. When she's in adjustment now and there's pressure off that spinal cord and that brainstem, she notices a much better quality of life in that capacity. Also, she focuses much better in college and in school. She notices that she's able to get her work better. She could focus in class better. She's just a lot more effective and efficient. She's a soccer goalie too. So she actually had a full scholarship for a college in soccer. She played very competitively. She was an elite level soccer player. And she noticed that her performance skyrocketed in her last season when she was under upper cervical specific care. And now here's one of the coolest things too. This work had such a profound effect on her life that she decided to 100% dive in, and she's now at Sherman College of Chiropractic training to become an upper cervical chiropractor. So it's so important when you focus on health, even with no symptoms. We have so many people that come here from all over with symptoms, and we're blessed to help, and they get transformations in their health. But it's like when you look at this, neck to the left, okay? That is super important. It needs to be addressed if you want to live life the way you're designed to with quality and quantity of life. Okay, research shows that. It's the same idea if you go to a medical doctor and they see that your blood pressure is 12 or 220 over 190. It's like it doesn't matter how you feel. You need to get that adjusted and get it under control, right? Spinal cord, brainstem, brain, cerebral spinal fluid, blood flow, control virtually every aspect and facet of your life. And when that's functioning the way it should, life gets better. You know, share this message with others, please. Let them know about upper cervical chiropractic care. Let them know how anatomy works. Encourage your friends and family to get checked here or somewhere else. We'll find them a doc. Because guys, life happens through the central nervous system, and if we were to focus on that a little bit more in life, we would see our lives going the way we want it to as time goes on. It's really, really cool stuff. Love and appreciate you guys, and we'll get more of these videos out soon enough. There's so much to share about how amazing the body is. Thank you.